When I was young, my cousins and I used to play dress up. Those are very fond memories of mine. On one of these occasions, we decided to put on a play for the adults, and we chose to do our own rendition of the Good Samaritan. I played the part of the traveler, and I used a bed sheet for my loincloth, obviously trying to be authentic. We used a bunch of bed sheets to create this massive tent in the basement to represent the inn. Recently, that memory came back to me, and I think for good reason. I no longer consider myself a Christian, but I still deeply value the teachings of Christ. And I'm not talking about Jesus as a doctrine or religion here. I still enjoy reading theology and learning from it. I'm fascinated by all the world religions, and they all hold similar lessons on how to be our best selves, how to show compassion, kindness, forgiveness, and love. Before we had the language of psychology and sociology, our ancestors used these stories and parables like this to understand and heal humanity. I approach this story with humility that I know that I'm still learning and growing myself. I want to talk about Christ-like behavior as a psychological and ethical model. An example of how humans respond when rules, identity, and certainty pull in competing directions. What is often missed about this parable is why Jesus even tells it in the first place. He is asked a question: who is my neighbor? Instead of offering a definition or a list, Jesus responds with this story, one that completely disrupts the expectations about who the neighbor is supposed to be. In the story, a man is attacked by robbers. He's stripped, he's beaten, and he's left for dead. The first person to encounter him was the priest. Seeing the injured man, the priest crosses to the other side of the road. Now, under Jewish law, at the time, touching a corpse made you basically ritually unclean. A badly injured man, he couldn't distinguish if he was alive or dead. What is clear is that the priest's role required purity. Becoming unclean meant he had to do purification rites, he lost time, and he was temporarily excluded from temple duties. Most likely, the priest did not pass because he lacked compassion. He passed because certainty about the rules and his roles and the risk made stopping feel impossible and made it feel super inconvenient. The second person to pass by was the Levite. If the priest, let's say, represents rule-bounded authority, the Levite represents secondary compliance, the person who follows the system without holding full power within it. Levites assisted the priests and upheld their authority. If the priest didn't stop, the logic would be simple. I definitely am not going to stop. And when authority figures act or do not act, others often interpret that behavior as moral guidance. The priest passed because certainty about rules closed his response. The Levite passed because certainty about authority relieved him of responsibility. The third person to pass was the Samaritan. He took pity on the traveler. He bandaged his wounds, took him to an inn, cared for him all night, and the next day he paid the innkeeper to continue caring for the man and promised to cover any additional costs. He didn't know if this man was a bad man or a good man. That's beside the point. It's your own actions that matter. Samaritans were ethnically related to the Jews, but were considered corrupt, socially distrusted, and often despised. And they were, let's say, a stigmatized outsider group. Jesus choosing the Samaritan is deliberate. The Samaritan represents freedom from institutional paralysis, attention unmediated by certainty, and compassion not filtered through identity. That is discernment, not certainty. Attention to suffering first and foremost. Christ-like behavior in this sense is not about moral superiority. It's about staying present enough to respond to what is actually happening, even when it disrupts your identity or comfort. The idea has become a catalyst for my own core beliefs. To love my neighbor is to love my fellow human. It means staying aware of how our daily interactions shape the world we share. Before any identity we claim, we are human first. Everything else is secondary. We are accountable for how we treat the weakest among us, especially in moments that are uncomfortable or inconvenient. Jesus calls us to this kind of discernment. Not to act like the priest by placing rules above compassion. Not to act like the Levite by deferring responsibility to authority, but to choose our humanity even when it costs us something. As a child, America felt like that to me. It felt like the Good Samaritan of the world. Not perfect, not without fault, but striving. I grew up believing that even when our government failed to live up to its ideals, we the people still felt responsible for them. That when power strayed too far from compassion, citizens would push back, not because we hated our country, but because we loved the ethic it claimed to stand for. I never confused America with its government. I saw it as something deeper, a collective conscience, a shared responsibility. Lately, I see more priests and Levites and fewer Samaritans. More appeals to rules, identity, and authority, and fewer pauses to ask, who is actually hurting in front of us? We are not our government. We are not our laws. We are not our rules. We are the soul of our society. What we choose to do in moments of discomfort, inconvenience, and uncertainty is the world we are creating for those who come after us, our future generations, our children's generation. When we are gone and become whispers of history, what story will they be telling about the United States? Like the Good Samaritan, did we choose to do what was right for each other? Did we choose to see each other? Did we choose to act? Did we keep our humanity even when it cost us everything? Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. That's not just a poem. It was an aspiration, and aspirations only live if people are willing to carry them